Alright, be honest. You clicked on this because studying feels like an impossible boss battle, right? You sit down, crack open a book, and suddenly your brain is like, nah, let's think about that embarrassing thing you did in middle school instead. And next thing you know, you're 3 hours deep into a rabbit hole of cat videos, questioning your life choices. But here's the thing. Studying is actually simple. You're just doing it wrong. And no, it's not your fault. Schools somehow manage to make learning feel like a punishment. But I'm here to fix that. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I promise you'll never look at studying the same way again. So, let's talk about why studying feels like trying to push a boulder uphill with a toothpick. The biggest problem? Most people treat studying like a passive activity. You stare at the words, highlight random stuff, maybe rewrite your notes in a slightly neater font, and then expect your brain to absorb everything like some kind of knowledge sponge. No, that's not how this works. That's like watching someone lift weights and expecting to get muscles by osmosis. Your brain needs to actually engage with the information. And that brings me to the first major fix. I know, controversial take. But hear me out. Instead of reading the same paragraph 17 times, highlighting half the page, and still feeling like the words are just floating around in your brain without sticking, teach it to someone. Why? Because teaching forces your brain to engage with the material actively, not just passively absorb it like a sponge that's already full of water. And before you say, "But I have no one to teach," you don't actually need a real live person sitting in front of you. Just pretend you're delivering a groundbreaking TED Talk to an invisible audience. Explain the topic out loud, as if you're the world's leading expert, even if, at this moment, you barely know what you're talking about. Your brain processes and remembers information much better when it has to recall and organize it into something coherent. Try it right now. Take whatever topic you're studying: history, biology, quantum physics, the art of making the perfect grilled cheese, and explain it to your pet, your reflection in the mirror, or that one sad, lonely sock under your bed that's been waiting for its partner to return from the laundry abyss. If you stumble or get stuck, that's a sign you need to go back and clarify your understanding. The goal is to be able to explain it so simply that even a 5-year-old, or your dog, could grasp the main idea. And if your dog gives you that look and walks out mid-lecture, don't take it personally. Not everyone appreciates a good lesson on the Krebs cycle. Alright, let's be real. Sitting down for a 6-hour study session sounds productive in theory. You picture yourself grinding through pages of notes, absorbing knowledge like a human sponge, and emerging as an academic powerhouse. But in reality, it's just you staring blankly at your textbook, rereading the same sentence 5 times, taking just a quick scroll through TikTok, and eventually spiraling into an existential crisis about why mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell and not you. Enter the Pomodoro technique, aka the secret weapon against burnout and procrastination. And yes, it's named after a tomato. No, I don't know why that makes it work better. But hey, if it helps, let's just pretend it's because tomatoes fuel productivity. Here's how it works. You set a timer for 25 minutes and go all in. 0 distractions, total focus. Then, once the timer goes off, you reward yourself with a 5-minute break. Stretch, grab a snack, do a victory dance, whatever keeps you motivated. Then you repeat the cycle. Your brain actually loves this because it's built to work in short, intense bursts, not marathon sessions of mental suffering. The best part? Knowing there's a break coming makes it way easier to push through those 25-minute work sessions without getting tempted by your phone every 2 minutes. But listen, I know how sneaky procrastination can be. Don't fool yourself into thinking, well, if 5 minutes is good, then surely a 3-hour break is even better. Stick to the plan. Otherwise, you'll wake up 4 episodes deep into a Netflix binge wondering where the day went. So, grab a timer or use one of the many Pomodoro apps out there and give it a shot. Your focus, productivity, and GPA will thank you. If your notes look like a chaotic crime scene, we need to talk. Highlighter marks everywhere, random arrows pointing to who knows what, and entire paragraphs copied word for word? Yeah, that's not studying. That's just you giving yourself future hand cramps and pretending it's productive. I hate to break it to you, but writing down everything doesn't mean you'll remember anything. Instead, let me introduce you to active recall, the real MVP of effective studying. Here's the deal. Instead of passively copying information like a human photocopier, turn your notes into a game of Q&A. Write down questions instead of just facts. For example, instead of jotting down, "The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell," flip it into, "What does the mitochondria do?" This forces your brain to retrieve the answer rather than just recognize it on the page. And trust me, retrieval is where the real learning happens. That way, when you go back to review, you're not just scanning over words and convincing yourself you kind of know the material. Nope, you're actually engaging with it, actively testing yourself, and reinforcing what you know, or realizing what you don't know, which is just as important. And listen, I see some of you out here creating Pinterest-worthy notes with 10 different highlighters, perfect calligraphy, and washi tape borders. Look, I respect the artistry. Really, I do. But let's be honest, you're decorating, not studying. If making your notes look like a bullet journal masterpiece helps you stay motivated, go for it. But don't mistake color-coordinated aesthetics for actual comprehension. At the end of the day, it's not about how pretty your notes look. It's about how much they help you learn. So do yourself a favor. Simplify your notes, embrace active recall, and let your brain do the work. Your future self and your wrist will thank you. Let's get real for a second. When do you actually learn? It's not when you're mindlessly reading the textbook. It's not when you're highlighting everything in neon yellow, like it's a classified government document. Nope, you learn when you try to remember something and struggle a little. That moment of effort, when your brain is reaching, searching, digging for the answer, is where the magic happens. That's why practice tests aren't just helpful, they're essential. Your brain needs that struggle. It's like a muscle. It only grows when it's challenged. If you just review material without testing yourself on it, you're giving your brain the illusion of knowing something, but when exam day comes, blank. So instead of passively skimming your notes for the 100th time, quiz yourself constantly. Make it a habit. Flashcards? Amazing. Digital apps like Anki or Quizlet? Even better. Past papers? Absolute gold. Pop quizzes from that one chaotic friend who takes way too much joy in watching you struggle? Priceless. Seriously, get someone to fire off random questions at you when you least expect it. If you can explain a tough concept on the spot, that means you actually understand it. The goal is to make forgetting harder than remembering. So challenge yourself, make your brain sweat a little, and trust the process. The more you test yourself now, the less your brain will betray you when it actually matters. If you think pulling an all-nighter is a power move, I hate to break it to you. But sleep-deprived you is basically a potato with Wi-Fi. And not even a useful potato. Just one that occasionally refreshes social media and forgets what it was supposed to be doing. Here's the deal. Your brain isn't just resting while you sleep. It's working. While you're off in dreamland, your brain is organizing and storing everything you've learned, turning scattered bits of information into solid long-term memories. No sleep, no memory consolidation, no retention, just you, staring blankly at your exam paper, wondering why you suddenly forgot literally everything. So do yourself a favor and get some rest. Seriously. That means no just one more episode at 2 a.m., no late-night TikTok deep dives, and no convincing yourself that I'll be fine with 3 hours of sleep and a coffee the size of my head. You won't. Your brain needs quality sleep to function properly, especially when you're studying. And yes, I see you. Don't think you can sneak in an all-nighter and expect your brain to operate at full capacity. It won't. It will betray you in the worst way possible, right when you need it most. So close the laptop, put down the phone, and give your brain the time it needs to actually remember all the hard work you've been putting in. Your future, well-rested, non-potato self will thank you. So, let's recap. Stop reading passively. Teach the material. Use short, focused study bursts. Make better notes. Test yourself. And for the love of all things good, sleep. Do these, and I promise studying will feel way easier than it does right now. Now go forth and actually learn something. And if this helped, you better hit that like button and subscribe, or I'm assigning you extra homework. Your choice.